But first, here's my brain dump. Vladimir Putin invaded Ukraine to show the Russian people and the world how big and strong he and his military are. A global heavyweight that could bully its neighbours into submission, punch its way to domination. But instead, humiliatingly for the increasingly isolated tin pot dictator, he's showing us all the complete opposite. Against all the odds, Putin's now on the ropes, smacked to the canvas by staggeringly brave Ukrainian resistance and his own tactical stupidity. Don't take my word for it. Even retired colonels on Russia's state TV, which spews out endless Kremlin propaganda, are now admitting they're on the back foot.
The
main deficiency of our military political position is that, in a way, we are in full geopolitical isolation, and that however much we would hate to admit it, virtually the entire world is against us, and it's that situation that we need to get out of.
It's hard to overstate just how significant that kind of comment is in a country where any public criticism of Putin usually ends very badly for the person saying it. But all the evidence suggests it's true. And desperate Putin's now personally making decisions normally made by his colonels, maybe because so many of his actual colonels, at least 40, have been killed in the war so far, along with 27,000 troops, a third of Putin's entire invasion force. And then there are the smouldering skeletons of 650 Russian tanks and 3,000 armoured vehicles, all a striking reminder of their leader's military missteps. Now, of course, it's far too early and optimistic to suggest that Ukraine is winning. The toughest bouts undoubtedly lie ahead as Putin tries to maul his way out of a defeat that he knows could finish him. But nobody gave the Ukrainians a hope in hell when the Russian forces invaded 82 long days ago. So the fact they are where they are today is astonishing and a testament to their incredible fighting spirit. And instead of scaring off NATO as Putin hoped, the invasion has actually made Russian neighbours like Finland and Sweden abandon decades of neutrality to join the alliance. So Putin's lost support from much of the world. He's strengthened NATO, and now he's losing support inside Russia. On the night I speak to the boxing champion, now helping to inspire Ukraine's astonishing comeback, it's time that the West ramped up its efforts to help them deliver the knockout blow. Shh. It's that word that can't be spoken. It can be alluded to, but never actually said. Suggested, but always censored. Of course, it's the W word. Inconveniently, it refers to about 50% of the world's population. But fortunately, all-inclusive linguistic innovators have come up with many alternatives which are apparently a lot less offensive than the W word. Birthing people, menstruators, bodies with vaginas, individuals with a cervix, chest feeders. These are all real, by the way. And then there's this one. Womxn, Womxn, and Womxn. I have no idea. I don't know how you pronounce that. Do you? Former First Lady Michelle Obama used it on her Instagram at the weekend, ironically to promote women's rights over abortion. One of the slides she shared said state lawmakers will have the power to strip Womxn of the right to make decisions about their bodies and their health care. Now, those who watched the show last night will know we had some issues with offensive language. So I will say the following word with some trepidation. It's woman, Michelle. Woman. There's no X in woman. What makes this particularly absurd is that Mrs. Obama's post was supposed to be supporting women's rights. Instead, she's trampled on them by pandering to a tiny minority of people who get upset when they hear a word that's been used for centuries to describe people who aren't men. The term Womxn, whatever it is supposed to be a mark of respect, I'm told, for transgender and non-binary people who identify as women. But what about the mark of disrespect that it shows to the vast, vast majority of women who would just like to be called women, spelt that way, W-O-M-E-N? Where are their rights in all this virtue signalling, language mangling? Reducing half of the world's population to an unpronounceable letter salad does nothing but deride women and draws mockery to the trans cause. Michelle Obama, of all people, should have known better than to fuel this nonsense. Well, sometimes news stories are so absurd, they look more like satirical parodies. I honestly thought somebody was winding me up when I saw a headline that Spice Girl turned fashion designer Victoria Beckham had declared that wanting to be thin is an old-fashioned attitude. Women today want to look healthy and curvy, she told a glossy magazine as she unveiled her new collection. To which I say, sorry, what? Is this the same Victoria Beckham, notorious for literally eating a salad leaf for lunch? And the same Victoria Beckham, more pertinently, who puts on catwalk shows with models like this. For many years, she has deliberately used skeletal, gaunt, hollow-cheeked models to flog her fashion, which I regularly criticise as a horribly dangerous inspiration to the tens of millions of young girls who follow Victoria Beckham on social media. And I suspect this sudden U-turn to celebrating curvier bodies is more connected to her struggling business, which has lost millions and never made a profit, than about her dramatic conversion to the aesthetic charms of the larger lady. As this latest cover of Sports Illustrated shows, bigger is the new thinner, and where all the fashion money is now going. Meanwhile, these are the women currently modelling Victoria Beckham's new VB body range. I've seen more curves than a Roman road. So stick a cork in your body positive preaching, Posh. I see right through the very little of you. Now, there are three things in life that are absolutely nailed down certain: death, taxes, and snowflakes complaining about me. We knew when we recorded the TV advert for this show, poking fun at the oversensitive woke brigade, there would immediately be a wave of frenzied protests from the oversensitive woke brigade. And right on cue, in they came, with formal complaints lodged to the Advertising Standards Authority, which is the UK's ad regulator, by people moaning about how deeply offended they are. Well, this is the deeply offensive and triggering promo that we ran. Welcome to Piers Morgan Uncensored. It's my new show where people can speak their minds.
Sorry, Piers, some people don't identify as people.
It's a place for big opinions.
Sorry, that's fattest.
For meaty debates.
Offensive for vegans.
The world's gone nuts.
Nuts. Could be sexist and offensive.
Actually, I find you offensive, mate. 38 people watched that and were so distressed by what they watched that they felt they had to make an official complaint. They said the ad was offensive, as it was targeting marginalised communities and making light of the discrimination that they face. A number of complainants objected particularly to the "some people don't identify as people" line. Can you imagine complaining about that? Fortunately, common sense prevailed. The authority rejected these complaints. It was a victory for free speech, for sanity, and in fact, common sense, as Piers Morgan now remains uncensored and will always remain uncensored.